Diamondbacks, Josh Bell, and what is happening in Pittsburgh?
Welcome back to your Valley Sports Plugs Arizona Diamondbacks recap for July 22nd through August 4th, 2024. I'm Chris Patrick with Michael Benjamin and VSP Tallman. We're here to break it all down for the Valley. So let's go ahead and get right into it. In the last 2 weeks, the Arizona Diamondbacks have gone 9-3 over 4 series and have not lost a series since June 27th, which was against the Minnesota Twins. Their current record stands at 60-52 on the season. We start this recap on the road, taking on the Kansas City Royals at Kauffman Stadium for 3 games. The first matchup in this one got the Snakes off to a bumpy start, with rookie Yolber Diaz only lasting 3 innings, giving up 7 earned runs early, which proved to be insurmountable. The Diamondbacks did bounce back strong, winning the next 2 games behind a strong start from Jordan Montgomery in Game 2 and 4 team home runs in Game 3, capitalized by a 3-run home run from Ketel Marte in the 9th. After that, the Diamondbacks come home to host fellow wildcard hopefuls in the Pittsburgh Pirates. In Game 1, Zach Gallen got beat up early, giving up 3 runs in the first 2 innings of work, but found his stride and finished strong, not allowing another run in this start. The bullpen held the line and the D-backs won a close Game 1. The Bats came to play in Game 2 to secure the series win. Jake McCarthy had a strong day with 5 hits and 5 at-bats. And in a wild Game 3, the Snakes were unfortunately not able to get the sweep as Paul Sewald gave up another save. This game went to extra innings, and despite Suarez and Gurriel both hitting home runs in the 10th, the Pirates took the win 6-5. Staying at home, the Snakes looked to take advantage of a shaky Washington Nationals team as they came to town for a 3-game series. And boy, did your D-backs not disappoint, finally getting that elusive series sweep for our Michael Benjamin. The highlight in this one being Game 2, where the Diamondbacks won 17-0 and saw 22 team hits, 3 Eugenio Suarez home runs, and every single starter recorded at least 1 hit in that game. Pretty impressive. Oh, and not to mention Ryan Nelson serving up 9 strikeouts in his 7 innings of work. And finally, we finish out our last 2 weeks. The Diamondbacks head east for another matchup with the Pirates, this time at beautiful PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Game 1 was a back-and-forth nail-biter. The Snakes came out of the gate hot, racking up a 5-0 lead at the end of 1 off back-to-back-to-back home runs from Ketel Marte, Jock Peterson, and newly acquired first baseman Josh Bell. And Bell would go on to hit a second home run later in the game. The D-backs pull out the win 9-8 to start this series. The Diamondbacks, not able to get anything going, dropped Game 2 4-2, which set up for a pivotal Game 3 to avoid their first series loss since June. But luckily for us, our boys weren't scared of all-star starter Paul Skeens and get the win in another close matchup 6-5, taking this series on the road. But now let's go ahead and pass it over to Mike for his thoughts on the last 2 weeks.
Gentlemen, let's give a little thanks to the Most High. Hallelujah, the sweep has arrived. First since May 9th against the Cincinnati Reds. They really wanted to give it away though, right? I mean, I got 3 specific items on the top of my mind for the people for this recap, and the first 2 revolve around the arms of this team, right? The fluctuation of the bullpen is a concern for me, fellas. After Sewald's debacle on the 31st, Torey said, that's it. And deservedly so. Like, do we agree? I think so at this point. Now it's all matchup dependent. It's either going to be AJ Puck, Ryan Thompson, Kevin Ginkel. But I want consistency. And I know that's what Torey wants as well. How did we have such a stellar run last year, making an improbable World Series run at that? We had our guys set up, right? Ryan Thompson in the 7th, Kevin Ginkel in the 8th, and Sewald in the 9th. That's just what this team needs. But for right now, while it might be the end of Sewald, it should only be a matter of time before he really turns it around, gets his pinpoint positioning back, and we probably see him back in the closer role. But item number 2, of course, is the new problem around starting pitching. Eduardo Rodriguez, the season debut is slated for Tuesday, August 6th. We are taping this early, so crossing my fingers. Hopefully it all went well. But Merrill, man, he's returning in probably, a week or 2 as well. So who's going to be on the outside looking in? Is it Ryan Nelson, who's just been absolutely stellar over the last month? Can't be Brandon Pfaadt. Is it Jordan Montgomery? I mean, you paid him a lot of money, but these are good problems to have. But that's going to be the question we're looking at. Who's on the outside looking in? My last item, fellas, it's the big one. It's our boy, Ketel Marte. Literally just in the last 12 games, this guy's hitting 391, 18 hits, 8 home runs, 20 RBIs, 12 runs scored. Absolutely incredible. 2 home runs in the first game in Pittsburgh. He's second in the league, only behind Shohei Ohtani with 5.1 wins above replacement. Now he's hitting over 300. You guys were saying it beforehand, and now baseball fans need to be saying it. Ketel Marte is an MVP candidate. And listen, fellas, he should be above Shohei Ohtani. It's just the truth. I know he's in the 30-30 club, right? Fastest in MLB history to do it, but he's won 2 of the last 3 years. And the big items, fellas. Shohei don't play no defense, and he hasn't pitched this year. Ketel is an above-average fielder and literally saved another run for Sewald just a few days ago. So put him on the list. Let's stop dancing around it. Ketel Marte is an MVP candidate. But these guys are rolling. We've seen some more injuries, but they just keep figuring it out, and I'm so excited to get 2 of our best pitchers back in the rotation. But that's all I got. So, Tallman, I'll pass it to you.
Fellas, did you know that the Arizona Diamondbacks have the best record in baseball since the beginning of July? It's incredible. And another thing, the media has been waiting so long to use that phrase, the answer backs, because I think the answer backs are finally back, right? This team is just never out of games recently. I mean, look at that Nationals game 1 of that series. We're down 6-0. Crazy comeback, one with the walk-off home run by Corbin Carroll in the 9th. And then even just this past Sunday against the Pirates, you're down 4-0 against probably one of the best pitchers in the league with Skeens. And then you stay in there, you fight, and you win that game. So I'm feeling really good. You're seeing glimpses of 2023 after the trade deadline when this team really started to get hot, right? Some of these trade deadline additions are looking pretty good. Obviously, we talked a lot about Puck. Even the Floro guy that's putting some depth in the bullpen. He's been a great guy coming in, throwing 1, 2, 3 innings. And then, of course, Mr. Josh Bell, first pitch he sees in a D-backs uniform, he hits it over the fence. Again, the one concern is the bullpen. Mike, you nailed it. I mean, it's got to sort itself out. It is promising to see that Lovello is going to switch it up and do what he needs to do to win games and pull Sewald out of there. But who's going to replace him? That's a tough ask to be the closer, right? We saw Thompson go out there and show how hard it is. You know, Thompson came in and had to rescue Sewald. And then we just saw recently Puck had to come in and rescue Thompson in the 9th. So I'm with you, though, Mike, where you mentioned how Sewald is working on his mechanics. He did pitch recently over the weekend, and his velocity was up. And everybody, the talk of the town is Sewald's going to be back in the closer. And you know what, guys? As much as we've hated to see his absolute terrible last month of July, this team to win and make a deep postseason run, we need Sewald to be good, and we need him to be one of our high leverage guys. But looking forward, I'm so ready. I'm so excited for this week and next week because I'm so tired of talking about when Merrill Kelly and Eduardo Rodriguez are going to be back in this rotation. But as we've already stated, it's happening tomorrow for Erod, and then Kelly is said to be only 7 to 10 days behind Erod. So this team is going to get a huge jolt right when we're primed to just take a huge run into this postseason. So if you're not feeling high on this team, then you're not watching the games and you don't know what you're talking about. But here we go. This is the highest I've felt all season.
Tallman, absolutely. I think most D-backs fans are feeling that way right now. We're getting hot. This is exactly the team we wanted to see. I think there are still some concerns. I mean, you guys really covered it all, and I'll do my best to just maybe emphasize a few of those points. What do they say, guys? It's out of the frying pan and into the fryer sometimes. Yes, we are getting Rodriguez back this week. Merrill is right behind him coming in the next couple weeks. But now we see Christian Walker on the 10-day IL. Like Mike said, we're recording this a little bit early. Gabby Moreno got injured in game 1 here with Cleveland, and he could miss some extended time. So I expect some more roster moves to come as far as sending guys up and down. But I do like the trade deadline acquisitions, Puck, Floro, Bell. We were, in fact, buyers, and we got positions of need. I am concerned about Paul Sewald for sure. I'm not as confident as you guys seem to be of him retaking that closer role, because he had lost all of his confidence towards the end there. You could tell in his last appearance, he didn't want to throw a single pitch over the plate because he knew if that fastball came in, there's a chance it's going over the fence. And you just can't have a guy like that who's not performing physically and then also having a mental hurdle at the same time. Now, I don't think it's impossible that he overcomes it, and I hope he does, because we'll definitely need 2023 Paul Sewald if we're going to make a deep run here in the playoffs. But guys, just last thing I have to say is capitalizing the case for Ketel Marte to be an MVP candidate. Mike highlighted the stats there, but a fun one that I like. In the last 2 weeks, Ketel Marte has hit 3 ninth-inning home runs since July 24th. Absolutely clutch, Ketel. You love to see it, and I expect that he'll stay hot and we'll continue to see more of the same. But Mike, I'm going to ask you, what do we have coming up in the next 2 weeks?
Fellas, in the next 2 weeks, we're facing the best of the best as the Diamondbacks head to Cleveland to match up against the Guardians. And like we said, the long-awaited debut of starting pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez. Then it's back to the desert for a 4-game series against the NL-leading Philadelphia Phillies. And after that, let's not call it a break. The Snakes need to keep piling on wins as the Colorado Rockies return to Chase Field, and we finish it off in the humidity with a 3-game series in Tampa Bay against the Rays. Very confident that this team will continue to push themselves farther along in the NL West wildcard race, as right now they have about a 1.5 lead for that last spot and are only a half game back. So by the time we come back to you guys next time, who knows? We might be right at the top.
You never know, Mike. But what I do know is that we're going to keep bringing you a Diamondbacks recap every 2 weeks throughout the season. So make sure you like and subscribe for more Arizona Diamondbacks and Valley Sports action. For Michael Benjamin and VSP Tallman, I'm Chris Patrick. We'll see you next time. Peace.